Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Teodoro-Dier. I'm a spiritual medium and intuitive reader. I've got a message, a special Halloween message for Taurus. And this is to let you know how it works, this is a message that I have asked for from my guides in spirit that will be deeply helpful and meaningful for you this week as you navigate what's going on. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here, and I strongly encourage you to subscribe to this channel so you can stay in contact with the very high vibration, beneficial information every week. This really makes sure that you're moving forward on your path. And if you're returning, so glad to see you, and thank you again for sharing your journey with me. Now, this is quite the Halloween reading. I have to say, I think you get the prize for the most Halloween-y cards, but Tauruses, this may seem like a dark week for you. This is a good thing though. Let me show you. So because this is a Halloween reading, I am drawing from an extra deck, and you have the fixed air card, which is Queen of Swords. So this is Aquarius energy. I know this is a Taurus reading, but what our theme is truth. What is the cold truth? That's really the big message and the theme of this card. Let's get straight into your reading. So the energy that the universe presents to you this week is death. So you have a chance to walk through a door, and it's so crazy, you know, Saturday is Halloween, and then that All Hallows Eve, and then the next day is All Souls Day. So there's something about kind of the old energy, the old pagan, the older kind of earthly energy, that this is a time of death and rebirth. We're in Scorpio season, and right now we've got Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, so this death idea is coming up a lot. Death to me is always good because it says that you're ready to walk through a new door, and you're ready to encounter some depth that perhaps wasn't there before. So this to me is good news. I love this card, and I especially love this card in this deck because it's a phoenix. So even though part of you may feel like it's dying and you're having to let go of it, you're rising up bright and strong and beautiful and singing. So this is really a good energy. However, in typical Taurus fashion, and I'm laughing because I am one as well, Two of Pentacles is the way we react. We turn our back on this opportunity and we want to stay on the earth. I think also this is the reluctance to let go. I think these Two Pentacles on this card right now, I'm feeling like they are reflecting the old self and the new self. You're kind of juggling them, saying, well, I'm not quite ready to get rid of my old self. I know that I have this new self waiting here, this new way of being, or this new way of doing things. You can take old and new self to mean a lot of things, but I'll stick with it right now so we can get this through. Old and new self, so you know that you have to let go of that old self completely to become that new self, what the death card and the universe are asking you to do, but you're still kind of juggling. You're still trying to balance both of them. There's aspects of that old self that are just still kind of holding on. The nice thing is that it's not like tied to you or attached to you. You're tossing it up in the air. So there's part of you that is actually releasing it. The only problem is you're catching it again. You just like throw it away completely, right? So you're in this a bit of limbo position. You're kind of like letting go of the old, welcoming the new, but not committing either direction. There's still this like going on. So now here comes the Halloween part. So please don't get scared because there's a good message in this. We've got the 10 of Swords, we have got the 9 of Swords, and they're looking at the Devil. Now look at all the grayness on this card. So this, I'm seeing tombs, I'm seeing like cemetery, I'm seeing those stone graves. This is literally, and I am getting chills. And not just chills because I'm talking about spooky things, but like goosebumps that I believe are my guides, because this happened last week once in one reading, and it's never happened really before. I don't usually get physical sensations, but it's happening again. So this is something important. This is, you're being presented with the grave of your old self. I mean, how much more Halloween can we get? It's like the grave is already dug and you're being brought to it to look at it. And so the universe is saying like, hey, if you're ready to let go of your old self, here's a place we can bury it in the ground and put it to rest. But if you're not ready, here's what's waiting for you. Anxiety, addiction, self-delusion, self-doubt, self-sabotage. You've got all of that if you do not close up this grave. But if you're willing to put an end to it, if you're willing to put an end to that old self, those old self-sabotaging thoughts, those old patterns that are toxic to you and no longer serve you, if you are ready to put them in the grave and cover them up, then we're done. Then that bit of cards go away. So we go back to this card that we started our reading with. What is your truth? What are you truly ready to do? We can't have one foot in the grave and one foot out of the grave. I'm laughing because that's a saying, right? One foot in the grave. But you can't really do that because you can't be on either side. You can't be half on the other side and half over here. It's like one or the other. We can connect between the two, but all of us are here on earth having an earthly experience. So this card is coming to you saying, what is your truth? And I don't know if you can see her face. She is very uncompromising. She's got this like, there's no backing away. There's no hiding with this card. She sees straight through you. And she sees straight through the devil. In fact, it's funny because, you know, if this were all together, she's looking through to that devil. She sees through. And you, Taurus, with your incredible powers of perception, you can see through to your own illusions too. It's just that reluctance to leave, to let go. We can sometimes be too tenacious where we have a hard time letting go of things that are especially connected to the past. Let's also think about this Queen of Swords is an actual sword. It cuts through. And the Queen of Swords is someone who makes up her own mind, who is unafraid to be independent, is unafraid to be different. That's, I believe, the association with Aquarius here. She's unafraid to be her weird, quirky self, whatever that means. But she makes up her own mind. She doesn't hem and haw. And she doesn't try to be two things at once or two different people. Because inside, I just keep coming back to these cards here, although some of me wants to put them down. What's going on inside, you can't hold these two things. You can't hold the old and new self. And so psychologically, it's taking a toll. You may be finding it harder to sleep at night. You may be finding yourself worrying more than usual. You may be finding yourself in need of distractions, things like shopping or TV or whatever we like to get into on our cell phone. You may be finding that's pulling you stronger this week because you just want to shut off this turmoil and this conflict that you feel in your psyche. So the message is, if you're willing to flow with what the universe is presenting you with, which is the chance to be done with your old, non-serving, toxic patterns, like for good, if you're willing to walk through and bury that old self in the grave, then you're done with all of this junk you've been feeling. And Taurus, this is so important because if you're watching this on Saturday in the Northern Hemisphere, this is a Taurus full moon. So the moon is in your sign, and the full moon means reaping benefits. If you put this down, it's only benefits coming back to you as the moon starts to wane again. So there's a hidden blessing in all of this, but the thing is, Taurus, you have to be in control of what's going on this time. Last week, it was more like the universe was in control. This week, the universe gives you an invitation, but it's within your control whether to step through or not. I don't really want to get into what's going to happen if you don't step in, but I can tell you that these cards won't shift. They're not going to change. They're still going to be there in your energy field. And you don't have to be a tarot reader to realize, like, these are not the most comfortable, warm, and fuzzy cards, right? Definitely not the most beautiful in the deck, but really the ugly and the scary can have a beautiful message because they're saying, look what's available to you on the other side of the door. So if you've got questions about that, please reach out in the comments below. It's a rite of passage for all of us on the spiritual path, that we are doing our best to move forward. And some weeks it feels like we're flying forward, and other weeks it's hard and you have to confront that shadow. But if you're serious, then you know what you have to do. So I will look forward to seeing you next time. If you are interested in a one-on-one reading, I do want to let you know that I have them available for you over Zoom, and you can schedule them with me at your convenience. Just check out the information in the description below or visit trueguidancetarot.com, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one.